Together we rise, together we fly.
She smiles, she shows up, she gets it all done. She's the one that everyone leans on. But behind that smile, there's a weight no one sees. If you've ever found yourself asking, why do I feel so tired, so disconnected, even when everything looks right? Then this video, it's for you. We're talking about the quiet ache so many women carry. We carry it beneath our polished lives. And not because we're weak, but because we've been strong for far too long. And if you've been carrying it all without a safe place to land, then you are not alone. So let's talk about it. I have a question. Have you ever felt like on the outside, it looks like you have it all together? You know, a good career, a family that loves you, and even people who admire your strength. But late at night, or even in those quiet moments, there's this strange emptiness. It's a heaviness that you can't quite explain. You feel tired, but not just physically. You feel unseen, but you don't know how to say it. You feel disconnected, but you can't even afford to fall apart. And most of all, you feel like there's no room for your truth in the life that you've already built. So let's go deeper. Let's go deeper into why this happens because it's not just you. What if there were hidden roots that cause you to deal with emotional weights? Let's talk about it. What if disconnection from yourself was one of them? It's where you've been showing up for everyone else, but slowly losing sight of yourself. Even your dreams, your joy, your voice, it's been buried under responsibilities and expectations. What about suppression for survival? You know, to succeed, you had to push things down, your softness, your fear, your intuition. You wore the mask and you played the role, but now it feels so hollow. And what about lack of emotional intimacy? It's where you're always there for people, but who truly sees you? And not the version that you present, but you, really you. And then we can look at unprocessed pain. That would be something like grief and trauma, disappointments that you didn't have time to even grieve. They don't go away, they just went inward. So they didn't go away, but they just went inward. What about role fatigue? This is where you're the strong one, the responsible one, the one who always gets it done. But that role is become a burden and it's costing you pieces of yourself. Then what about spiritual disconnection? This is where your spirit is craving something deeper, but success without, spiritual development, it still feels like emptiness. And then the last one could be hyper independence. It's where you've learned to rely on yourself because you had to. But now you don't know how to let it go, or you don't know how to let anyone in. And you're exhausted from holding everything, holding it all up alone. I'd like to take a moment just to even encourage you to take a moment and sit back and reflect on some of the things that could possibly be what's causing the weight behind our smile. And just to do like a quick recap of what we shared, we talked about losing touch, with who you really are. We talked about suppressing parts of yourself to survive even longer for deeper emotional connections. We also talked about carrying silent grief and even wounds and getting stuck in roles that don't even reflect you anymore. We talked about feeling spiritually dry or even disconnected. And then the last one we talked about was being tired of being the one who carries it all. Now, if any of these sound like you, it's not your fault. And more importantly, there is nothing wrong with you. You might be sitting here and you might be saying, "Well, Jackie, those hidden tips were really, really good, but what do I do next? How can I begin to move towards the path of wholeness?" And I am so glad that you asked, because some of the things that you could do would be to begin to find safe spaces. Find safe spaces such as becoming a part of a sisterhood. It could be even, sharing with a close family member or a close friend. It could be through coaching. It could be through speaking with a clergy person. It could even be therapy. Another thing that you could do would be to come home to yourself. Begin to ask, what do you want, and not what's expected? How often do we base what we want on what we think is expected? So taking the time to just think about what is it that you really want, and again, not basing it on what's expected. Another thing you could do would begin to open yourself up and begin to heal and discover those wounds or those unspoken things that are going on inside of you, and begin to give yourself permission to speak again. What about rest? Rest is so important. And what about receiving things that being given to you, or you have individuals in your life who are trying to support and comfort you and encourage you? Sometimes, because of what we've been through and we're so used to being the giver, sometimes it can be difficult to receive. So taking time to rest and also receive, because you are allowed to need, and you also are allowed to exhale. So this journey, it's not about becoming more productive, but it's about becoming more whole. So in closing, here's my invitation to you. Here's my invitation for you to begin to exhale, because you don't have to perform to be loved, and you don't even have to hold it all together to be valuable, because you are allowed to take time to rest, to be real, and even to heal. So if this spoke to you today, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you in the comments. You could drop a statement or something that may have whispered to you, "This is me." Because here, you don't have to carry it all alone. And if you're ready to start unpacking the hidden weight behind your own smile, I hope you'll stay connected, because this space is being built just for you. So until next time, continue to be well, continue to live your life bold, fulfilled, and free. Take care.